everyone. Welcome to Beauty and Gratitude. It's Friday night and it's Women's History Month, which has just passed. Now we're in April, spring, tis the season. I'm a spring baby, so April is highly important for me for many reasons, but also I think it's like an awakening. It's spirit. It's like the unfurling of flowers. So I am so happy to have Sonja Francis with us, and we're going to talk about all things dealing with astrology and just life and purpose and focus. And we will have connections and links for Sonja so she can talk with you guys. You should definitely connect because she has helped me in the past, and another friend just recently who keeps raving about her, by the way, and we will talk about that. And one thing about me, when I meet people and they have so much light and love to give, I always try to keep them in my orbit. So Sonja's been in my orbit for a very long time. And also, the show is about beauty, right? And it's about gratitude. So we always want to center around those things. And as you know, I have a book called 100 Days of Gratitude, which you can get on our Go Shop. So check that out, or should I do this right here? You can check that out. And really, it's a practice. It's something I've been doing for over a decade. I do it in the morning. 10 to 20 times, 20 things I write down every morning. And it really sets my day. If I don't do it, I feel off balance. So just gives you an idea what gratitude means, That said, let's have Sonja on. Sonja, welcome.
Hi, welcome. Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's such an honor to be here with you.
Yes, thank you. How's the weather there?
It's been still cold a little bit, but I think it's warming up. We're moving into spring.
Yes, yes. And as I was saying, spring, whether it's April, May, it's kind of an unfurling of the universe,
Yeah, yeah.
One thing I wanted to do before we really jump into astrology is reflect on 2020 and
Yes.
also reflect on the now. So I believe past and present. So
Yeah.
how did you cope? How did your clients cope with 2020?
Yeah, I mean, obviously everyone has a little bit of a different version of how they cope with what's been going on. But on the whole, I would say people that I've been talking to have been coping pretty well in terms of like staying heart centered. And I think that was really the main key. And what you say about gratitude, right, has been so strong for me in 2020. Like just knowing what blessings I have in my life, focusing on the good stuff, focusing on the little things, that make life beautiful and powerful, and really allowing myself not to get overwhelmed by what's going on outside of me, right? Because what's really happening, I think, right now with the way the energies are is we're really learning how to shift from being very influenced by outside forces to
Yes.
being more influenced by our inside forces, right? Or
Yeah.
by our own inner life. And I think if you're able to make that shift, then this phase is going to be a lot easier to deal with than if you stay glued to what goes on in the outside world and you're trying to manage yourself by that or with that, right?
hmm That's so true. And it's interesting. I was talking to some people yesterday on a job, and I was saying how I had driven myself so hard, like 6 days a week working pre-COVID, like a maniac. And I would still take nice vacations and get away and all that, but I wasn't doing a lot of self-reflecting and I wasn't doing a lot of like soul work. And
Yeah.
I found that in 2020, I started to really deep dive, like deeper than I've ever gone before, into the soul work. And
Yes.
then also I realized I could live on a lot less than
Yes.
like a third less. Like
Yes.
I was making like money that I was making in my 20s in 2020, and I was fine. And I was like, oh, this is interesting.
Yeah.
Why have I been killing myself for the past 2 decades? You
Yeah.
know?
Less
So
is
it was
more.
yeah, it just really like
Yeah.
it clicked. Something clicked. It's like, you know what? It will flow. It will
Yeah.
come. Just trust it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what do you think about 2021? What do you see for 2021 for many people?
Well, obviously 2021 is a continuation of 2020, right? So we can't think of it as like separate from it.
Yes.
But there are differences for sure. I mean, I think that 2020 was a little bit more heavy in the sense that everything that happened was so new.
Mm-hmm.
and so unexpected. And now that we're in 2021, we're getting a chance to adjust to that new you in a sense, right?
Yeah.
New phase. And not that it means we have to adjust to it becoming normal what happened in 2020, but we have to adjust to um, shifting our way of being with the outside world. And I have found that listening to your own physical body is very important,
Mm-hmm.
but also listening to your intuitive body, which of course is always important. But I think that combination of physical and intuitive has become much more important for me in 2021.
Very true. Very, very true. There's been a paradigm shift, for all of us, and
Yeah.
I welcome it. Recently I lost a friend to COVID, and I can honestly say, and she was a dear friend, not just some peripheral,
Yeah.
um, she was the happiest she's ever been in the past 6 months.
Mhm.
She chose to go to Jamaica to write remotely, healthy, fine, fell in love, got married.
Oh,
And literally 6 weeks after her marriage, she passed away actually a week ago. Well, not even a week ago on Saturday. So
I'm so
that just
sorry.
gives you an idea. So, it's a month later. So I'm pre-taping this show, everyone. So I want to salute Erica Watson, but I want to talk about that like loss during this time and
Yeah.
how to, of course, you're going to grieve. We all know that. But
Yes.
how do you move past it and how do you move forward? And I think this ties into astrology because I don't think people understand that astrology is much bigger than what's your sign. It's actually
Absolutely.
much bigger than that. So can you really talk to us about astrology coaching and what you do? And I
Yeah.
want people to really come and check you out.
Thank
Yes.
you. Yeah. So the way I've set it up is that I'm also a life coach as well as an astrologer. So the way I've set it up is that I support people not just via an astrology reading, but I also support people via coaching. And it's not like just a regular coaching where you just talk to each other. It's really a deep dive into like opening up yourself towards who you are and allowing yourself to let go of conditionings of past issues, emotional issues, fears, like really allowing yourself to completely release and let go so that you can start with a fresh canvas. You start from a blank page. And
Love
from
that.
that blank page, you can be more present. And by being more present, you can make better choices. Because often what we're conditioned into is that we tend to make choices from conditioned places, from
Yes.
places of fear, from places of attachment or aversion. And when we
Mhm.
make choices from those places, we're not getting new results, we're not getting better results, we keep getting the same results over and over that we've always gotten. And even if we want to move forward, it's difficult to, because if we're not able to let go of all of that stuff that's holding us back, then
Mhm.
we're going to just stay in that same hamster wheel and just keep spinning our wheels, right? And
Yes.
so the coaching supports us with that. The astrology supports us with really understanding what the energies are about and what they're doing in our own personal chart, but also by transit. And there are a bunch of other layers that are a little bit too advanced to talk about right now. But there is definitely, it gives us a map and a better understanding of how to work with the energies. And that's very helpful.
Yes. And it's a form of astrology. Many mystics throughout time have used astrology.
Yeah,
Mysticism is astrology, really.
yeah,
Um, and they've used it throughout time to temper when to make moves, when to transition, when to
yes,
create, when to sign a contract.
yeah.
So I think it really is an important tool. I mean, Nancy Reagan used it for every move she made. And many people around the world. I mean, even like Michelangelo. It's you can find books
Yes.
within his library that had the anatomy.
Nostradamus.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
many. So there is a huge importance to astrology,
Absolutely.
and life coaching, of
And I
course.
think the more you know astrology and the deeper you're able to go with it, the more you will understand why it's so important, why it's such an important tool. For people that just read horoscopes, you're a little bit removed from the power of the tool because as horoscopes by themselves are really just talking about a tiny, teeny, tiny little aspect of astrology.
Yeah,
So
general.
it doesn't
Mm,
give you the whole, it's there's so much more to astrology than that. Also, I think it's important the person that is using a tool, it's important to pick that person carefully because it's a tool and the person that uses it colors how the tool is being used, right? It's like when you use a paintbrush on a painting, the person that uses that paintbrush, has a lot to do with what the painting is going to look like in the end.
right.
So
Mhm,
choosing the right person to speak to when it comes to astrology or any other modality, really, even also coaching or therapy, right,
mhm,
is an
mhm.
important choice to make. So, and you have to make that choice from your heart because you have to feel that heart connection with that other person. If you know that that's there, then you know that there's a resonance between you and that person, and then you can find the help that you really need.
That's true. And I often, when I do oracle cards or tarot cards,
Yeah,
I make sure that I'm clear,
yeah,
that I'm not bringing any stuff, And if I
absolutely.
am, I tell the person, can we do the reading later? Because I need to be centered.
Yes, that's very
So,
important. You got to be centered. You got to feel clean and clear. And one of the things is that, of course, it's a tool, right? Which means
right.
that, y in a sense, you're not really the doer. It's like something's happening through you, right? Like you're receiving. I mean, this is just a tool that I'm using to communicate a lot of very intuitive stuff.
Yes.
And if you're able to do that, if you're able to open up to that and let that come through, that's very powerful.
Yes. It's like it's downloading light, right?
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
downloading.
So even when I wrote my book in 2018, I didn't publish it until 2020. But
Yeah.
honestly, I tell people it was like downloading. I
Yes.
didn't write it. I
Yes.
did not write it. It came
Yes.
through me.
Yes. That's what I'm
So,
experiencing right now as well, because I'm also writing a book currently. So it's
yes.
really like just letting myself, and I only write when I really feel that calling to write.
Yes.
Like I will
Mhm.
sometimes take months off where I don't write anything, and then I sit down and I just write like 6 chapters in one go, and it just
Yes. Yeah.
it comes down. Yeah.
I can't wait for your book. I can't wait.
Yes,
So
me too.
I
I'm
want
so
it
excited. I have
signed.
artwork already. Artwork for my book. And actually, I got to show you one of my artworks that I have for my book. This is the Pisces
That's beautiful.
chapter.
That's beautiful.
So I,
Wow.
I found a fantastic artist that I'm working with.
Wow. Beautiful. Love it. So I have a few more questions for you.
Yes.
I met Sonja when she was modeling and acting. So Sonja, do you miss that world at all?
Honestly, no, I don't. I mean, when I did do it, and this is now going back more than 10 years ago, right?
Mhm.
When I
No.
was in acting and modeling, I loved it. I enjoyed it. I loved the connection with people, and I loved being creative. But astrology has sort of taken that place for me now where it's actually gotten me to a deeper place where I'm still able to be creative and I'm still able to connect with people but on a much deeper level,
Yes.
and I really enjoy that. I am My moon is in Scorpio, so I need that depth. I need to go places that go deeper and where I can really get to the juicy stuff with people.
Mhm.
And I also love learning things. So, being able to learn more about my craft, learn more about my tool, those are things that I just love to do. So
That's
yes,
great.
I'm not
You're more, it
regretting.
makes you, you're more on purpose, right? Now what
Yes,
you're
I
doing, you're
feel
more on
much more
purpose.
purpose. And also
Yes.
the spiritual angle is important to me because I'm a very spiritual person. I have a strong Neptune in my chart, and so
Mhm.
it is important for me to allow spirit to guide me and to also do my readings from that perspective. I call my astrology soul-based astrology for that reason because I want people to understand what their soul has chosen for them to live through in this lifetime.
Wow. Can you tell us your website and how people can reach you?
Yes, it's astrologercoach.com. That's my website.
Astrologycoach.com. Okay.
Yeah. And then I
Mhm.
also have a Facebook fan page and I have a Twitter account and Instagram. Twitter is Sonja Francis, which is SonjaFrancis.
Mhm.
My Facebook page is Astrologer Coach in one word, dot Sonja Francis, also in one word. And
Okay.
then my Instagram is Astrologer Coach in one word.
Okay. That's perfect. We'll make sure these links are here so people can reach
Yeah,
you. You
yeah.
know, I actually, as you were talking, I'm like, yeah, I need to get I had an astrology reading with you years ago. So I need to redo it. I need to do it again.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go online after this interview and sign up for a session. So expect
Yeah,
that. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that sounds great. I would love to
A
talk to you.
gift to myself for April. So
Yes. Now,
thank you.
um when is this being aired? What we're recording now?
We actually, this will be April, April, the first week of April, so the first
Okay.
Friday.
Okay,
Yes.
got it. All right.
So also, we're still recording. I wanted to talk about a few more things.
Yes.
What brings you and your husband joy? What brings you joy?
Oh, me and my husband.
Mhm.
Well, we have a very easy relationship in the sense that we give each other a lot of space, but when we come together, we're very close with each other. So it's
Yes.
kind of like a nice flow. It's kind of like an ebb and flow, right? It's sort of like when we're there for each other, it's like very tight, and but then when we're both working, it's like very like this is your space, this is my space, and we give each other a lot of space. So I personally love that type of relationship. Everyone's a little bit different when
Me
it comes
too.
to intimate relationships, right? But
Yes.
that's my preferred relationship because I like my independence and I like to have my space.
Yes.
That's why I like having a big apartment as well or big
Hmm.
house.
Yeah.
Um, because I need this feeling of spaciousness, right? And
Yes.
I'm lucky in that my husband loves that too, and that he's able to give me that space, but at the same time, he's also able to give me a lot of caring and a lot of love. And I think
Yes.
when it comes to relationships, the most important thing is the ability to really love one another and give each other space and
Yes.
being compassionate and forgiving with each other because life happens, things happen in relationships, and when we're not able to give each other space and forgive each other for things, then we're
Mhm.
always gonna, that does not create a fertile ground for long term and sustainability, right?
Yeah.
Which I
Yes.
think is true with anything in life, even also with our careers, we need to be able to step back sometimes, take space. And this is what 2021 is really
I was
about
about
in
to
a
say,
sense, right?
yes.
It's about giving ourselves space, giving other people space, and allowing ourselves to really tune in with what's true for us, what works for us, what's right for us, and but not rush into it anything, not like try to like get it all at once, but to just kind of like go, okay, this is where I'm at right now, this is what's
Right.
important to me, and so I'm going to give myself some space here, give other people some space here, and everyone's going to be dealing with this very differently, so we need to give each other space, right?
Very
Because
true.
giving each other space is giving each other love, in a sense, you could say.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. What do you find beautiful? What's beautiful to you?
Oh, so many things. Um, I love beautiful objects. I love flowers. I love animals. Um, I love beautiful colors. Um, I love art. I love music.
Hmm.
Music can be extraordinarily beautiful, and art can be extraordinary. I mean, there's so many beautiful things in life and in the world. I can't even begin to count it all. It's just
Yes.
you just have to find I think I have a gift that I can find the beauty in almost anything.
I'm the same way, Sonia. Like good or I always say I'm grateful for the good and the bad, the seen and the unseen,
Yeah.
because it all benefits us,
Yeah.
it really does. What are you grateful for?
Oh, I'm so grateful for this home that I have here where we live in Pittsburgh, and I'm so grateful for my husband. I'm grateful for my pets. I have two cats that are just super adorable and have given me so much love over the years. I'm grateful for my friends. I'm grateful for what I do, how I'm able to connect with people. My all my members of my online community, like I love all of them, and I love to serve them and support them as much as I can. There's so much to be grateful for. I'm grateful
Yeah.
for the seasons, all of it. Yeah,
Yeah. You know, I will definitely make it down there and visit you guys once we can
I
travel
would
more.
love that. Yes,
'Cause I'm on the, I will be, you know, I'm back and forth, East and West Coast.
I know. Yeah,
And I do love the seasons, but I do love that I took this time the past 3 years, maybe one more year, I'll do four, uh, here to
yeah,
just be with myself, to expand. I needed space. I needed to be in
yeah,
a big apartment. I needed
yeah,
to write and create, you
yeah.
know, and see myself, you know.
Yes.
It's been a really beautiful time. And I
And I
thank
think
you.
that's really key, actually, what you're saying about seeing yourself. You need to be able to see
Mhm.
yourself and honor yourself, you know?
Yes, yes,
And how do you honor yourself if you can't see yourself, right? And so we either have to do it by going completely within to learn how to do that, or we need to get support from people that know how to guide us in that direction, that we
yes.
can truly see who we are,
So
inside.
true. And it's interesting, once I came like full circle in this moment, I
Mm-hmm.
was able to do a spiritual cleansing, like cutting off certain physical connections or attractions to people
Yes,
that weren't healthy for me.
yes,
And I was like, and not that we were physical at all, we weren't, but there was a psychic connection that I needed to
yes,
sever.
yes.
And using angel energy to sever those connections. Literally one night, I remember getting on my knees and saying, I need you to come here and just sever these psychic connections.
Mm.
And I woke up the next morning, I felt it. I was
Yeah,
like, oh,
you felt the difference. Yeah,
yeah, I was like, this is like 24 hours, not even 24, 12 hours. I was like,
yeah.
oh, wow, this is powerful stuff, you know? So,
Well, we
wow.
are powerfully connected to everything around us, right? So if you are asking for something to be severed, it will be severed. You
Yes,
know,
yes,
everything is as you wish it to be, you know?
yes. And you see it with new
Yeah.
eyes, you know? So
Yeah.
thank you so much, Sonia.
Oh,
Thank
thank
you.
you so much. It's always
Yes, this is
so lovely
amazing.
to see you. I love you
It's
so much.
amazing. And, you know, I will definitely check you guys out and keep in touch. So thank you
Yes.
so much for this.
Solivity Magazine and Beyond Words Publishing is pleased to announce its latest charitable partner, the National Women's History Museum. Please join us in supporting this amazing organization.
Don't tell me I can't sit where I want.
Don't tell me I can't be an inventor. Don't tell me I can't be a soldier.
Don't tell me I can't be a movie star.
I am Anna Mae Wong.
I am Rosa Parks. I refuse to give up my bus seat to a white person.
I am Tabitha Babbitt. I invented the circular saw.
Don't tell me I can't fly.
Don't tell me I can't be an explorer. I am Sacagawea.
Don't tell me I can't be a scientist. I'm Gertie Teresa Corey. I won a Nobel Prize in Physiology.
I am Deborah Sampson.
Don't tell me I can't open my own business. I'm Estee Lauder. I started a global empire that now has $7 billion in annual sales.
I disguised myself as a man to fight in the Revolutionary War. Don't tell me I can't be a spy.
Don't tell me I can't be a journalist.
I am Mary Elizabeth Bowser.
I'm Amelia Earhart.
I starred in over 40 films from the silent era to the talkies.
I am Hovita Idar. I was an editor, a publisher, and I even founded my own newspaper.
During the Civil War, I was a maid for the Confederate president. He thought I was illiterate, but I actually had a photographic memory. I was shot twice in my first battle and removed the bullets myself.
These are just some of the women who have changed history. Don't let them be forgotten.
Become a member and support the
National Women's History
Museum. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook.
Please join us in supporting the National History Women's Museum. You can find out more information by going to solivity.com/support women's history.
Hey guys, welcome back to Beauty and Gratitude. I want to thank Sonja Francis for coming on and talking about her astrology coaching as well as her life coaching. She's amazing, and you guys should definitely look for her link. She was very helpful to me many years ago, and I definitely will reconnect with her. It just really, as you know, astrology is a science, right? And as well as life coaching and teaching people how to really listen to their intuition and follow that. So I thank her for this. And as you know, it's April, and part of April, I love the spring. I'm a baby of the spring. So I love talking about nutrition and health and great food. So we have a great treat for you guys. Patrick D'Andrea from London. He lives in London now. Excellent chef to the stars, and I'm going to bring him in, and we're going to talk all things nutrition, food, and just eating and living and loving a healthy life. Welcome, Patrick. How are you?
Really good. Hi from London.
Yeah.
Hello. Thank you for having me here.
Yes, thank you. So London via, as you guys can tell, Italian, of course. Patrick, how are you overall?
Well, we're doing really good here in London. It's a sunny day, so no complain. And it looks like that the vaccination are going really fast here. So it looks like we're going to be back to normal in a couple months. So really looking forward to.
Me too, my friend. Me too. And I'll come visit. Or you guys come visit me, either or. Question for you. So when did you know that you wanted to be a chef?
My passion for cooking started at a very, very early age. My parents are divorced, so I was living with my mother, and I was spending all the vacation time with my dad. And what happened when I was spending time with my dad, I had the freedom to express myself and try to do something nice for him. And I started to cook for him. I remember at the age of 7 years old, I was already cooking omelets with shrimps or kind of weird ingredient to mix with eggs. So I guess from the really early age.
Wow, that's amazing, man. And I know from there you worked for Cipriani, correct, in Italy? And then you moved to the States. So how was that experience? How was that experience?
Well, it was a great experience. I was a really young fellow. I just graduated from my culinary institute, and I met Mr. Cipriani, and he just offered me a job. At that time, I was a commis. The commis is the person that help the chef of a rank. So it's basically the guy that peel the onion and clean the basil and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But he gave me the opportunity to move and work at the Harris Bar in Venice. I spent there 1 year and a half. And after, thank you to him, I was able to travel London and New York in different locations, and it was a great experience. I learned how to run a restaurant. I learned the passion from the product. I learned to respect the product, and I learned to work with others. You know, and in really hard environment and high pressure, work with others is not easy.
I know.
In the end, is the most important things, because it's the only way to be successful is work with others and have a good team, people that you can trust, that you can rely on. And yeah, it was a great experience. Absolutely.
And what's amazing, just a little backstory, guys. When I met Patrick, it was at a friend's home. It was a dinner party, and Patrick was part of the auction, meaning having an in-home chef. Long story short, I hadn't met him yet, but I was tasting all this food. It was just fresh, simple, delicious food that was coming out of the kitchen. I was like, wow, this is good. And it's bubbly, gorgeous redhead. I was like, okay, she's amazing. So I just wanted to know her, and I wanted to know who was in the kitchen. And Patrick came out, and, you know, I love them both, Patrick and, you know, Alexa, but it was love at first sight. I was like, dude, this was really good. So that was my first experience with your food, you know? So Beyond that, I know that you worked for many, let's say, celebrities or high-end people. So can you share some of your clients?
Well, beside the fact that in Cipriani I had the opportunity to work and cook for most of the celebrities. After my experience with Cipriani, my journey take me to became a private chef.
Yes.
And when I became a private chef, I was hired by Tamara Mellon, the Jimmy Choo co-founder. And that was my first introduction to the private sector. With her, I travel a lot, New York, Hamptons, Los Angeles. I worked for our partner. There was like a Hollywood mogul. And I worked for them for 5 years.
Wow.
After that, my experience was much bigger, and my connection take me to work for the bigger name of the fashion industry or music.
Yes.
Put it that way.
I love it. Patrick's not going to name drop, but I'll name drop when I plug this on Instagram. So thank you, Patrick. I know with being a chef, nutrition is important for you. Can you talk a little bit about nutrition and why it's such a key point? A lot of chefs don't think like that. A lot of times it's just fat and oil and butter and, but you love shopping for fresh food and nutritious food. Share that journey with us.
Well, that's what happened to me from my personal experience. As a young chef, I learned a lot of different technique and discover a lot of different products in my cooking life. And of course, as a chef, you want to use them and you want to show to your customer and you want to apply everything that you learn in the same dish.
Yes.
And as every chef, I believe that every chef has to be a little bit of an egomaniac.
True. Yeah.
Right, because it's all about the presentation and how it's gonna taste and all that kind of things. So that's the shift that happened to me. From that egomaniac chef that was looking for perfection and perfect dish and perfect flavor, I understood that maybe my gift wasn't about how good my dish was looking or how good I was or how perfect everything was. Maybe it was more about others, more about what I can do for others through my gift. And maybe, yes, of course, I really give a lot of importance of the presentation. You eat with your eyes, but at the same point, it's really important to eat what you need. And to do that, you have to learn how to listen to your body. Everybody is different. There is not a diet for anybody, but there is balance in life for everything. And in this case, nutrition is the process that provide the food necessary for our health and our growth. So it's the most important things. And so after that shift, I become much more conscious on the ingredients that I was using and how I combine certain ingredients that they can have certain property just if you combine it. You know, I don't know, I give you an example. Do you know that if you eat broccolis, you should cut the broccolis 20 minutes before to cook them? No,
I didn't know that. No.
Because in that 20 minutes, they change. The broccoli is able to change its property being cut and become much more easy to digest, and
Yes.
much more. Basically, it's gonna help you to lower your blood pressure.
Ah, that's a great, really good advice, actually.
It's just this little trick that you
Mhm.
start to know about it, and you start to use them and share them with others. And of course, you are what you think, you are what you eat.
Yes.
And your body definitely mirroring the way you're eating.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so as soon as you start to put attention of what you want to introduce to your body, there is a challenge. I mean, I start 10 years ago,
Mhm.
and when you start, there's really not much that you can eat. You really go to the supermarket and you
What's
get
there?
excited, and after you really spend a lot of time in there to take a look at the labels. And if you're not a chef, it's really hard.
Yeah.
So that's what I try to help people with, a little advice on how to buy fresh food. You know, what's the difference from organic or not organic?
Right.
You know, a lot of people, they don't have that consciousness. You know, I don't know, organic and non-organic. Basically, organic is when they don't use any pesticide. Okay?
Right.
But I don't know, there is a list of produce of fruit and vegetables that doesn't have to be organic when you buy it.
Right.
Because they don't use pesticide for that 15 item. Okay,
Right.
so maybe you can spend a little bit more for some item as a tomato that have to be organic, and maybe save some money for some avocado or asparagus or cauliflower that doesn't have to be organic because they don't use pesticide.
Interesting.
Sweet potato, cauliflower, asparagus, onion, all that kind of stuff doesn't have to be organic.
As you're talking, I'm getting hungry, and I'm thinking what I'm going to cook for dinner later. So I know with nutrition, it's about attention and intention. So what you put into your body, you know, like you said, like when you're shopping, just make sure you know what you're shopping for. You know, I definitely, for me, I shop much better now through knowing you and other chefs and other people that are into fitness. I'm a pescatarian now. I really don't eat meat at all. And I saw a huge shift in my body, like from not having gas, not having, you know what I mean? Just really leaning, you know? So food definitely affects you inside and out, even your skin, you know? So, and hair, you know, amazing. So I have a few more questions for you. What are some of your favorite spring dishes, spring, summer dishes?
Depends where I am, D'Angelo. I always work with a local product.
Oh, great. Okay.
So it depends which country I find myself. But summertime, I definitely like fresh food, raw food, a lot of nice fresh salad or cold soup. I really like a salad that is made with white endive.
Delicious.
White endive or Belgian endive. With avocado, lemon juice, a little bit of salt, and Parmesan cheese.
Wonderful. Clean.
Really simple salad. You have good fat. By the way, as nobody know, but the white endive salad is an alkaline food, and 7 times more vitamin C than an orange.
Really? I love endive salad. That's one of my favorite salads.
It's the best. It's the best salad that you can eat.
With lobster.
With lobster, of course. Oh, with lobster is really good.
Endive salad, lobster, avocado, a little lemon, salt and pepper. I'm happy. Yes. Easy.
Good. Easy peasy.
So how can we reach you on Instagram? Do you have a website? Can you share that with us?
Of course, my Instagram is P as in Peter, D as in David, .chef.
Perfect. And do you have a website or just Instagram is the best way to reach?
Just Instagram.
Perfect. And you know, with promoting the show, I'll definitely show them photos of your beautiful dishes. You know, every time I see it, I'm like, oh God, I wish that could be flown in. You know, like a meal plan. What are must-haves in the kitchen? Like things you think someone should always have in their kitchen?
For me?
For you, or for an everyday person, a layman like me, what should I always have in my kitchen?
A blender.
Interesting.
A good blender.
A good blender. I need a blender. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, because you can make ice cream, and you can make soup, and you can make all these different sauces that you can. So you can elaborate your healthy food in a way that is much more exciting and appealing to you, right? Maybe you just have some frozen mango. You want to have a little treat after a movie. You drop the mango in the blender, and you make your homemade mango sorbet.
Yes.
Delicious.
Wow.
Because I have to be sustainable. You know? So if you stop eating almost everything, you have to find an easy, simple way to replace it.
Right. Right.
You know, the first things when you go for groceries, the first things you have to look is the serving size, because when it's too good to be true, is because the serving size is too small, right?
Right.
Another things you have to check right away, the amount of sodium that you have. That's really, really bad for you. Like in the States, people have the double of the sodium that they should have. And, you know, they increase blood pressure and they cause strokes and all that stuff. And the amount of sugar.
Yes.
That's the worst. I really believe that the sugar is is like an actual drug, give you addiction.
Right. It's interesting. Like when I read packaging, when I'm shopping for stuff, the sugar content is so high in so many products. I'm like, why does this need, you know, 25 grams of sugar, you know, or 16 grams of sugar? I'm like, that's crazy. You know, even when it says sugar free, there still is a high dosage of, you know, alternative sugars, which are just as will spike your insulin the same, right? So, you know, Patrick, I want to thank you for coming on. You know, I wish we could do this in a fresh market somewhere in London or New York or here. Next time. But I know that you do tutorials. You work also with your partner, Alexa, with a lot of partnerships around the world. You've been to Tulum, where you've had events here in New York, you know, LA, London, you name it. So I know that once we're able to travel and be out there and about, that we'll definitely see you in parts of the world and get to taste your food. So
wonderful, and I will update you guys and let you know when we're going to put one of our new workshop.
Grazie mille, Patrick.
Grazie a te, D'Angelo, my friend, amigo mio.
Cool. I also want to just thank Patrick D'Andrea, Chef Patrick D'Andrea, and Sonja Francis for being on my show tonight. And tune in, guys, very soon, and enjoy your spring. Thank you.